Okay, so you know how we like to do these deep dives into these like really meaty topics?
Hmm.
And today's is something that I just can't stop thinking about.
Oh, yeah.
Could humanity actually survive a nuclear war between NATO and Russia?
That's a big one for sure.
Yeah. I mean, it's pretty heavy stuff, I know.
Absolutely.
But with everything going on in the world right now, I felt like I needed to try to understand the science behind it, like
Yeah.
just to see what's what.
No, I totally get it. I mean, it's something we all think about in the back of our mind,
Exactly.
but it's important to look at it head on.
For sure. And to help us do that, we're going to be looking at this article
Okay.
called What the Science Says. Could humans survive a nuclear war between NATO and Russia?
Catchy title.
Right?
Heck.
From the Alliance for Science blog.
Interesting.
So it's going to be a deep dive into like the potential consequences of something like this actually happening.
Okay, so like a worst case scenario kind of thing.
Yeah, exactly. And, the article really doesn't sugarcoat anything. It's like straight to the point. And it focuses on two main threats,
Okay.
nuclear winter
Yeah.
and radiation.
Right. Yeah, those are the big ones.
Yeah. And honestly, the whole idea of nuclear winter just sounds like something out of like a dystopian novel or something.
Yeah, I know what you mean. It's like a bit out there.
But it's like a real scientific concept, right?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
It's definitely something scientists are concerned about.
Okay, so how does it work?
So imagine hundreds, maybe even thousands of nuclear explosions happening all over the place.
Okay.
And these explosions, they send these massive clouds of dust and soot.
Soot, like from the fires.
Yeah, exactly. All the fires and the debris, everything gets kicked up high into the atmosphere.
Okay.
And basically, this thick blanket of dust and soot blocks out the sun.
Oh, wow.
And when that happens, temperatures across the globe start to plummet.
So it's like a global cooling effect.
Exactly. It's like a super intense version of a volcanic winter.
Oh, right, because the article mentions volcanic eruptions like Krakatoa
Mm-hmm.
causing similar cooling.
Yeah. That's a good example.
But that was temporary, though, right?
But it shows you how much of an impact just a single eruption can have.
And now imagine hundreds of nuclear explosions.
Yeah, we're not just talking about a temporary dip in temperature here.
This would be like decades of cooling, potentially.
Yeah, it would be devastating.
Oh, man.
Think about the impact on agriculture.
Right.
Crops would fail worldwide.
So there'd be mass starvation.
It's a very real possibility.
Okay, that's terrifying.
It is.
And then on top of all that, there's the radiation.
Right, that's the other big one.
That's what really gets to
I'm
me.
telling it's a chilling thought.
Like radiation poisoning, it can damage your DNA, right?
Absolutely.
And that leads to cancer and all sorts of other health problems.
They're not pretty.
And it's not just about being near the blast itself, right?
No, no, no.
The article talks about radioactive fallout.
Right, the fallout. That's the real insidious part.
Yeah, I hadn't really thought about that before.
Think of it like this. When a nuclear weapon explodes, it releases these tiny radioactive particles.
Okay.
And these particles, they get everywhere.
Oh, wow.
They contaminate the water, the soil, the food.
So it's like this invisible threat that spreads.
Exactly.
Oh.
And the wind can carry these particles for thousands of miles.
So it's not just the immediate area that's affected.
No. It's global.
So we're talking about like a nuclear winter plus widespread radioactive contamination.
Yeah, it's a pretty bleak picture.
It really is.
Yeah.
But there's this one part of the article that surprised me.
What's that?
It suggests that complete human extinction isn't a guaranteed outcome.
Yeah, that's an important point.
So there's a chance that some people could survive.
It's possible. The article talks about the possibility of pockets of humanity surviving in less affected regions.
Okay.
Maybe places with favorable wind patterns or geographically isolated areas.
So like remote islands or something.
Yeah, something like that.
And what about the radiation?
Well, some species are naturally more resistant to radiation than others.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and over time, those species might be able to repopulate the planet.
So it's like a glimmer of hope in an otherwise terrifying scenario.
I think that's a good way to put it.
It's still pretty scary, though.
Oh, absolutely. But I think the takeaway here is that we need to do everything we can to prevent this from ever happening.
I agree.
And I think that starts with education and awareness.
Right, like having these conversations and understanding the science behind it all.
Exactly.
Because if we don't know the risks, we can't take steps to avoid them.
I think that's a great point.
So this deep dive has been kind of sobering,
Yeah,
but it's also a call to action, I think.
absolutely. We need to stay informed, engage in meaningful conversations, and push for diplomatic solutions.
Yeah, because the fate of humanity might actually depend on it.
I think it does.
Okay. Well, on that note,
Yeah,
thanks for joining me for this deep dive.
my pleasure.
And we'll see you next time for another look at the science behind the big questions.
Sounds good.